F1 fans, welcome back to the F1 Masters podcast brought to you by AUBG Daily. As usual, you're with Vasco, David, myself, Harry, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the 2025 Qatar Grand Prix weekend and the continued championship fight going into Abu Dhabi, which is something that hasn't happened like for the last 15 years to have three championship contenders going into the final race. So exciting times for F1. And we can start off with practice.
Yeah, there was one practice session because it was a sprint weekend. McLaren were dominating. Fernando Alonso was P3 and Williams showed promising pace. There's nothing really much more to add about practice.
Then we went to sprint quali where we saw another Lewis Hamilton disaster class. He finished P18 and in the interviews afterwards, throughout the whole weekend actually, Lewis was really disappointed. He seemed like he's already ready for the next season and he cannot wait it to get faster to him. Also, surprising was that Yuki Tsunoda out-qualified Max Verstappen for probably first and last time, and he was P5 while Max had a relatively poor quali session and he finished 6th. We also had Lando Norris the third, George Russell at second, Oscar Piastri won the quali, and in general, Oscar Piastri had much better weekend compared to the previous 6-7 races.
Yeah, and also Williams, as we said, they continued their good performance from practice. They were both in the top 10, and Charles Leclerc was P9, which is important to mention. But going into the sprint, Max managed to pass Fernando Alonso at the start and was led through by Tsunoda on lap 1 because he needed the points.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, for the championship fight. Leclerc had a wide moment at turn 2 and lost a few places, which meant that he didn't get any points in the sprint. And Alonso also went wide and Antonelli took the opportunity to overtake him. Towards the end of the race, Tsunoda and Antonelli were both penalized for track limits, and they finished in the order they were because they were one behind another, so no real effect with that. And Tsunoda managed to take P5 in a sprint, which is something we haven't seen this season. And the top 3 in the sprint were Piastri, Russell, and Norris.
Yeah, nothing really much to add. The sprint race was one of the worst I've ever seen, one of the most boring ones. Nothing literally happened the whole race, but average sprint, I suppose. We can move on to qualifying, and this is where things started to matter more with the points as well, because Lando did beat Max, so it was a 25-point gap, so Max needed to outscore Lando in any case to be still in the fight. Same thing goes for Oscar Piastri, even though he had a little more points. Lewis Hamilton once again out in Q1. I'm not surprised. I mean, just watching that Ferrari on board, it understeers and oversteers. Charles Leclerc literally lost control of the car. That's how bad it was. And I don't even know. Why has this car become so awful? Because in Mexico last month, they were 2-3 in qualifying, and now they are struggling to get out of Q1 on a regular basis. I don't understand it. I guess they have just checked out for the rest of this year, but it is extremely disappointing to see. Yuki Tsunoda got knocked out in Q1, which is kind of surprising considering his pace in the sprint qualifying. Alex Albon was pretty awful as well. Yeah, you want to say something about Yuki?
Well, that's what he do, from time to time. He gives you hope, and now turned out, bam, complete crash.
It was the same track, so I don't really know what difference there was. I mean, at least Lewis Hamilton was consistent with his 2 P18s. Pierre Gasly got into Q3. Not that it mattered, which we'll get on to, but impressive pace from him. And Oscar Piastri actually got pole position, which was very important. His pace was incredible throughout qualifying. And the top 3 in the championship all made it to top 3 on the grid, setting up a crucial championship fight. And as we knew going into the race, Lando Norris just needed to beat both of them to become world champion, which was very possible going from second on the grid.
Also, another important thing that I want to mention is another lovely qualifying session for Isaac Hadjar, who made it to sixth place, which makes me think like Red Bull, they need somebody who is great in qualifying. Like they haven't had pilot who is great in qualifying since, I don't know, Danny Ricciardo probably. And I don't know, probably Hadjar is going to take that place next season. I'm still not sure, but I don't know. I feel like he could be a bit better. Just people need to put no pressure on him, and he can be good for Red Bull.
I think the news said that there will be an official announcement of drivers in Red Bull and RB in the next few days, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
should
so we're
announce it.
expecting that. I think it will be Hadjar in Red Bull and Lindblad and Lawson in
Yeah.
RB.
That's what
Pretty-
will most likely be.
Yeah, pretty much. But we can say that Isaac Hadjar, for me at least, he has been rookie of the season. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, indeed. At the beginning of the season, I had no expectations for him. I expected him to be the worst rookie. I was so wrong. Like his qualifying pace, his race pace, the whole year he has impressed me, and he's super good at both keeping a good pace with his car, but also protecting his position on the grid. And he hasn't been as dangerous and as risky as, let's say, Bortoleto or Antonelli, and that is why I really liked him, and I hope that if he's the next Red Bull driver, I hope that he would succeed.
I think Antonelli has really stepped up though, so I would definitely put him in that conversation as well, with now 3 podiums in the season. But yeah, qualifying, that was that. So we prepared for the race, and the race honestly was going to be very uneventful in my opinion, had there not been a safety car at the beginning of the race, which turned the strategy around completely, resulting in a Max Verstappen dominance to claim victory and to stay in the hunt for Abu Dhabi. Oscar Piastri finishing in second, who, in my opinion, had a flawless weekend and I feel like did not deserve to not win that race. And Carlos Sainz is on the podium. Fantastic, unbelievable. Just, he really upgraded by moving teams, I guess. But really good from him as well, honestly. Overall impressive performances. And yeah, we can talk about the start of the race, really, where Lando Norris, the creaks, really just started to, come into place as he got a bad start. This is the Lando Norris we've been waiting for all season. He finally gets a bad start. And Max Verstappen takes P2. George Russell had quite a poor start, and I'm going to get on about George Russell later because I thought he was quite terrible actually in this race.
This was one of his worst weekends of the year, I can definitely say that.
Yeah, I mean, the start, but not really much happened apart from that, I feel like, and until that safety car, it was really as is since the opening lap.
Well, really good start from Verstappen, but what I think should be addressed immediately is that despite everything that happened at the beginning of the race, like the crucial moment was it in lap 8, lap 9 or something like that, lap 7, lap 7.
Yeah.
When Hülkenberg and Gasly collided, and Hülkenberg just he was done for the race. And after that, everybody decided to pit, but both McLarens actually. And how would you evaluate their strategy? And it is like 100% sure that was the most crucial moment of the race. That was the moment when Verstappen won the race actually. But don't you think that they should have split the strategy, or they should have both pitted, or they should have listened to the drivers, whatever, let's say, Lando wants or Oscar wants, and not be like, okay, we're going with that strategy and we do whatever we want, despite the fact that we are leading the race and we have control over everything that is happening.
I don't think this was an easy decision because they're leading the race. So let's say they are the only ones that pit. All of a sudden, they're at the back of the field, stuck in traffic the whole race. I mean, this is a big issue for them because Max in clean air can just pull away and he'll be able to make up the gap.
But it was known that everybody would make 2 stops throughout the race.
Yeah.
So I think if even if they're stuck at the back and nobody else pits, then the rest of the field would make 2 stops eventually, and you would make 1 stop, and once again you would have an advantage because you have faster pit stop than them and you're closer to them because of the safety car. I just don't see their reasoning. At least one of the pilots should have been pitted, I think.
But if they pit one of the pilots and the other like loses time, for example, then there will be accusations that they favor Lando Norris, for example. Like we have seen it a lot. So I don't know. It was a really tough decision to take because also if they mess up one strategy and the other is wins the race, then again
then we should mess the 2 strategies.
Yeah. So that's why they decided probably to stick to doing the same thing for both drivers, just to make sure that nobody is favored, let's say.
And they probably expected another safety car, probably.
Yeah, probably they expected incidents,
I don't
even
know.
though I'm not sure it's like, it was very expected.
I don't know what they expected. I honestly think they felt like it was just so early in the race to make any decisions that they just decided to keep the strategy what is. I think they preferred to have track position because if they double stacked, potentially Norris loses some positions there, whereas they're 1-2 controlling the race.
As you said, double stack, I have to say that Mercedes had 2 really slow stops. They couldn't do it properly, and that's why Sainz moved to P3 because Mercedes just messed up their pit stops. So, yeah, there is a risk as well when you double stack, so David has a point.
Well, I mean, it's a difficult decision in my opinion to make, especially leading the race, because once you're further back, you can see the others what they're doing and adjust. But yeah, I think it's always easy to say in hindsight, but definitely not an easy decision to make. Yeah, so we had the safety car and we had like this wild sequence of cars in the pits where it happened twice because of the 25 lap limit, and so on the second pit stops, everyone also pit, and it's like, and there was no safety car, and so it was weird seeing like all these cars come into the pits once again. So it was just total chaos in the pits. I found this like quite bizarre to watch.
I'm surprised that there were not many unsafe releases because I was expecting penalties just coming in.
There were some, but I think that FIA decided to not note all of them because when replays were shown, I was like, well, these guys are like 2 centimeters away from each other. Isn't that unsafe release? And you're like, I don't see anything wrong here.
Yeah, the only one they penalized was Ollie Behrman. Oh, but he didn't really get penalized for unsafe release. It was like they let the car go before the car was off the jacks or something like this, and so
because it jumped.
It was so strange. It was actually very frustrating for Behrman because he was running in the points before that, and then he just went to the back of the field.
I think also Ocon got a penalty, so yeah,
he got penalty for the at the beginning of the race for jump starting, and after he got penalty for not serving his penalty for the jump start correctly. So I can say that this weekend was disaster class for Haas.
Even though we know that they were fighting like a few weekends ago, we were having them in the conversation for P6 in the constructors. Right now, Haas are kind of far away from it. So
well, Aston Martin got some good points with Fernando Alonso, who had really good pace, and he had this random spin in the middle of the race where he just lost, I think, like 2 positions, I think, to Hadjar and George Russell. So that was kind of odd. We didn't really, I feel like, watch much of the midfield, obviously, because we were so focused on the drive at front. But Isaac Hadjar also got a puncture 2 laps before the end of the race. It reminded me of the Carlos Sainz puncture from last year. Was it last year or the year before? Where him and Hamilton both got punctures on the same lap.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that last year or was it the year before? I don't remember.
I think it was the year before.
The year before,
2023 Pro.
It reminded me of that.
Yeah. But what's important to mention at the end of the race, other than the Isaac Hadjar puncture, which also gave Yuki Tsunoda 1 point, important to mention.
Yes, but actually it took something from it took 2 points from the championship dream of Max Verstappen.
Yeah, I was saying that Kimi Antonelli made a mistake, ran wide, and he gifted Lando Norris a place, which is very important, 2 points for a championship fight. I have seen that Antonelli has been attacked by all the fans after the race because they feel like this was done on purpose. But I don't believe this is the case. This was just a driver mistake. So the abuse that he has received is not great, but never. Okay, anyway.
It is stupid because he's still so young and he does mistakes. But why he doesn't do any mistakes against Lando Norris? Like he managed to take out Leclerc 2 times throughout the season. He managed to take out Verstappen. And eventually he even gives 2 points to Norris before the final race of the season. Why would he support the terrorists?
I mean, like, I think that the reason he got hate, it wasn't like just like the mistake. It was just like watching it. It was just so weird because like Lando could not overtake him like at all, and then just randomly you see Kimi Antonelli has just lost the place, like no reason whatsoever. You don't even know what's happening, and yeah, it was like 2 laps before the end.
It was the last lap? Or?
Yeah, it was 1 lap before the end.
Yeah.
And actually,
people thought the race was over.
Yeah, these points were important for him as well because he would have equaled Hamilton's score for the season.
But I still think that he will outperform Hamilton.
Yeah, he would outperform. I think that Hamilton has given up. I don't think that if he was able to like give the last race to the reserve driver or some rookie from F2, he would be like kind of likely to do it.
Yeah, I feel like just his motivation has disappeared recently. With this car and just him not feeling well in it. I feel like 2026 may be Lewis Hamilton's last F1 season. Honestly.
We would see the car.
Yeah.
That Ferrari brings up, but I feel like this is the lowest that I have ever seen Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we say this every race, so I don't really want to continue diving into it.
Let's talk about the championship standings, please.
The championship standings, yeah. So Lando, even though he did lose some points this weekend, still first, 408 points. Max Verstappen is now second in the championship on 396, and Oscar Piastri is third on 392. 3-way title fight. All have a relatively decent shot. Obviously, Lando has the biggest advantage as he just needs to finish on the podium at Abu Dhabi to clinch the championship. But still, anyone's game, I suppose. And in Abu Dhabi, anything can happen. You never know what a late safety car could do to your race.
Yeah, if there is drivers like Nicolas Latifi in the field, you never know.
That's why we have Franco Colapinto on the grid. So
yes,
this is its time to shine.
Indeed.
But Max Verstappen, he has 9 podiums in a row, by the way, just like to mention that.
Very impressive.
And he overcame a 104-point deficit from Oscar Piastri to now be ahead of him in the driver's standings. And I'm like frustrated because Oscar Piastri was so good this weekend. In my opinion, he deserved to get maximum points from this weekend, and because of strategy issues that were beyond his control, he ended up losing the race win. Still in the title fight, but all of these poor results in the last few races have taken a toll. Where was this pace in these last few races? I don't understand. If he just had the same pace, the championship might have even been over. He might have already been world champion. But instead, he goes into Abu Dhabi 3rd place in what was looking like a 2-horse race throughout, like, halfway through the season. So
yeah, very confusing stuff from Oscar Piastri.
It's just frustrating for him as well. I saw his reaction after the race, and he obviously still has a chance, but it's
minimal,
unlikely. And I don't know after this season, how many chances will they get? What will McLaren do with these new regulations?
Well, he can pull off Sebastian Vettel 2010 because Vettel was actually in the exact same position at that race. Like his teammate was actually higher in the standings, and like they were
leading.
fighting.
Wasn't leading?
No, Vettel was not leading for like.
No, Weber was
Weber,
Weber,
and Weber finished ninth. So I hope that Lando Norris would finish ninth in that race.
Highly unlikely.
I doubt it. It's Abu Dhabi.
And the McLaren is too good. I mean.
Yeah, it is still good, but we don't know. We don't know, and like hope dies last. So
yeah,
I would just hope that Verstappen, because I'm sure that if Verstappen has even 1% chance, he would definitely take it, and if he would do his best, and I hope that would be enough for him to grab his fifth, which would be arguably more impressive than the first one, I think.
Yeah, he will definitely go into the GOAT debate even more because like getting 5 in a row, and also in this season where the McLarens were pretty much dominating for almost the whole year. It's very impressive.
Getting over the biggest points deficit by a mile that we have ever seen in the sport, it would be really impressive.
Yeah, so I agree with all of that. I think Max Verstappen is definitely the GOAT if he wins the championship. But
going down the standings, we have to say, as we said, Hamilton and Antonelli, only 2 points split them. I feel like Antonelli will grab that 6th place because the Mercedes is better right now and he is in good form, so I think he will manage. Also, let's talk about Carlos Sainz. He's in P9. Actually, we'll see in the predictions later. One of us predicted that he will be there. So what do you guys think about Carlos Sainz? Can he jump Alex Albon even though it's 9 points? It's highly unlikely.
No.
I mean,
No.
it's possible. Like he needs top 5 finish.
He needs another podium.
Alex Albon has not scored points in the last 7 races. What happened to Alex Albon?
Let's talk about it.
So good, like actually unbelievably good, and now he has been dominated weekend after weekend by Carlos Sainz, and Carlos Sainz has gotten 2 podiums in that Williams. Alex Albon hasn't finished in the points in this whole time span.
He has 211 places.
I think it is a combination of both poor form but also bad luck.
And bad qualifying for me.
Yeah. And we've seen at the beginning of the season, Alex Albon was dominating. And after that, gradually things were getting worse and worse. And most importantly, Carlos was getting much more... He was much more comfortable with that car throughout the whole season. And we've seen it in the past few races. He feels like both this is his team and the car, like they've tried different settings throughout different weekends, and he even said it in an interview that this weekend they approached it with settings that they haven't tried the whole year, and actually they turned out really good. And we've seen it. Yeah, he was third, which is super impressive, and I've said it a couple of times now, but I actually cannot wait for the next season to see how he would perform in that Williams.
Yeah. Also, do you think that Isaac Hadjar will keep the 10th place because he has tough competition from Nico Hülkenberg and Fernando Alonso? They're all split in the span of 3 points.
I think yes. I think RB are good around Abu Dhabi, and he showed good pace in Qatar as well. Just that puncture honestly set him back so much. So he has the pace to do it.
Yeah.
As long as there are no puncture, there are no problems with the car, I think he would get it. But I think that Fernando would jump Nico Hülkenberg.
Yeah, because Fernando is in a good form, I feel like.
This was his first points finish since Kota.
But he got points in the sprint as well, so...
Yeah, he picked up a lot of points. Nico Hülkenberg got taken out in the beginning of the race. So
but Nico had 5 points finishes before, in a row. Is it? Oh no, that's Ollie Berman, sorry.
Guys, do you remember that at one point in the first few races of the season, one Stroll was 25 points ahead of Fernando Alonso?
He had such bad luck in the beginning of the season, but after that he picked up the pace. And
Lance Stroll has not scored points since the summer break started. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is really poor from Lance Stroll. He always gets knocked out in Q1. His qualifying is his weakest,
I feel in the past few weeks, we know for the drivers that are getting out in Q1, it is Hamilton, Yuki Tsunoda,
Lance Stroll.
and
Franco Colapinto.
Franco Colapinto, and one of the
Zaubers.
choose your fighter, like either Bortoleto, it can be Gasly, it can be Albon. From time to time, it is one of the Haases. But
Yeah, actually, he has a point. That's true. Okay, going into the constructors, pretty much everything's sealed up. Like the top four, there are no changes. Like going, probably nothing will happen going into Abu Dhabi. Even mathematically, I feel like.
Well,
the top four-
mathematically, like only Mercedes and Red Bull could swap, but
I don't.
No,
feel
I
they
don't
would need
think
the
so.
second driver. But Ferrari mathematically already guaranteed to finish fourth, which is just amazing.
Also, Williams are guaranteed fifth.
Yeah,
Yeah. But what about like going from sixth to ninth? Do you feel like there will be any changes? Especially Zauber and Haas, they're only 5 points difference. I don't know. I feel like nothing
I think
will change.
if Berman has a great weekend for his standards, he would take like I don't know 2 points,
Yeah.
and
I
they would be fine. But I don't see world where both Nico and Gabi get points and get enough points to overtake Haas.
I can't believe how like ninth place has 68 points. Like that's so many points, and to finish ninth is almost a crime. I feel
Yeah,
like
that's also because of the podium. I feel like that podium in Silverstone got them 15 points, but still, actually, that's a lot of
like
points.
the
for-
midfield's been really competitive this year.
Yeah,
Incredibly
except Alpine.
competitive.
Actually, the whole season, this has been one of the more entertaining seasons that we have seen in the past decade, let's say.
I agree.
And in general, for Red Bull, you said it earlier that they will need a second driver to do that. I don't think there has ever been better time for Yuki Tsunoda to step up and be like, oh, I actually pranked you throughout the whole season and I'm actually good, and I need him to qualify second only after Max, and after that finish the race at second place only after Max. And after that, somebody would wake me up, but still.
Yeah. I mean,
I need the whole point is there hasn't been better time for him to step up than this race.
he needs to do a Sergio Perez 2021.
His seat is already decided. I think he's driving IndyCar next season, so it's pretty much done and dusted for him.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Let's go to our highlights of the weekend. Harry, you can start.
Okay, my highlight is Oscar Piastri's improved performance. Because I remember in the last few episodes we were always talking about his poor form, his bad results, but this weekend he was, as David said, he was flawless. Stepped up his game, sprint quali pole, sprint win, quali pole, and then in the race, because of strategy, he was second, but I feel like he didn't make any mistakes. Very impressive performance.
Yeah, I agree. My highlight of the weekend is that the championship is still alive. Honestly, I thought Lando Norris had a really good chance of winning the championship even after qualifying, but the way things went down in the race and the fact that he lost, a significant amount of points, it's not that it's just alive, but it's like the other two are definitely within a shot of actually getting the championship as well. So, yeah, I'm just happy about that. That's the biggest takeaway I can take from this weekend.
My highlight is the same as David's because I didn't expect 3 people to be still in the championship in the last race of the season. But the race was great, Oscar showed great pace, and I really cannot wait for Sunday.
Let's go to surprise and disappointments. My surprise is Yuki Tsunoda, but let's say only before qualifying, because he in the sprint quali and sprint race he was very impressive, and then qualifying it was the same old Yuki Tsunoda, but then he got a point in the race, which is also something that doesn't happen often. But overall, as Vasco said, if he manages to repeat his performance in sprint quali, even better it, let's say, because get a P2, P3, which is not gonna happen, trust me. Still,
He outqualified Max Verstappen. I don't think there's more to ask for.
yeah. And my disappointment, Lewis Hamilton, even though it's not disappointing anymore, it's
It's disappointed but not surprised.
Exactly.
At the beginning of the season, it was surprisingly disappointing.
now it's just the same old thing.
It
every
is
weekend.
disappointingly disappointing.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. I don't need to add more.
Yes. My surprise is Oscar Piastri because he was nowhere for like the last month, and now finally, this is the Oscar Piastri that was dominating the first half of the season. The calm, composed, ruthless Oscar Piastri. And yes, he didn't win the race, but I was surprised to see he just crushed Lando the whole weekend, who was crushing him the last few races. So good to see. Hopefully, some momentum he can build on going into the championship finale. He needs a lot of help to win the championship, but definitely well and truly in the hunt. My disappointment is actually George Russell, because this is the kind of race that I feel like screams like George Russell random P3. And he wasn't there to do it. Like, bad start, bad pace. He finished over 20 seconds behind Kimi Antonelli for no reason. Like, he didn't have any damage, he didn't have any incidents, he was just slow. And this was very, like, un-George Russell-like, in my opinion. And I was disappointed. I thought he was definitely going to be involved in the fight for the podium, and he just wasn't, especially after his pace in sprint quality. But yeah, George Russell do better.
I think in the past few races, actually, George Russell has just been a bit bored because he's so far away from the three championship contenders, but he's also so far away from Leclerc that he is in that no man's land that he's actually in during all the races throughout the season. So that he's not fighting for anything, and I think that is what determines his mindset for the last 3-4 races, maybe. Because Antonelli, I think the mindset would be really different if he manages to beat Lewis Hamilton in his first season. That would be like a mind gap that he's going to battle. And for my surprise of the weekend, definitely Carlos Sainz. He was third, made it to the podium, second podium of the season. As we said, feels his car has improved definitely, but in general he's much more comfortable in that car, and that means that great season, great things. We've seen a lot of promising things from Carlos. And the disappointment of the weekend, McLaren, their strategy. I think that, I don't know, they wanted the entertainment. They wanted to see what is going to happen in the last race of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they manage it as well. But yeah, now we can go on to our predictions for Qatar, and Khari, you can start off.
Okay, both of my predictions were wrong. Antonelli win. I don't need to comment on that. And Hajar to get points in both sprint and the race. I mean, he got a puncture, but he also didn't get points in the sprint, so yeah, not that close to happening. And both of my predictions are connected to the championship. One of them is that the Constructors' Championship standings will remain the same as the ones after Qatar. Not very bold, but I feel like it's going to happen. And the other one, Antonelli to finish ahead of Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship. Pretty much, I think it's going to happen. Considering, what's going on recently.
Yeah, my predictions for Qatar, Carlos Sainz will move to 9th in the standings, and he decided to do a masterclass performance, so I'll take that prediction. And one of Oscar Piastri or Max Verstappen will be eliminated from the championship fight. No, it didn't happen. I jinxed it. Let's go.
Pretty much a tap in.
Let's go.
Somehow managed to.
Let's go. This is the moments we live for. My predictions for Abu Dhabi. All three championship contenders will finish on the podium.
This means Lando Norris world champion.
Just saying. Yeah. I don't really see anyone. I think they'll all be actually like very strong at Abu Dhabi. They're all motivated to win the championship. So I don't really see a reason for them to not finish on the podium. If they do, and it's over. Also, my other prediction is Racing Bulls will outscore Ferrari. Racing Bulls are good at this track. Ferrari have been awful in the last month, so yeah.
That is pretty believable.
Yeah, I feel like it actually may happen.
Yeah, Racing Bulls would be 8th and 9th, and they would still outscore Ferrari.
I mean, they didn't outscore Ferrari like this weekend, even though Ferrari were miserable, but I still think that Racing Bulls with both cars will be able to get points.
And for my predictions for last week, I said that there would be a crash between between two of the three leading drivers. That didn't happen, but probably for good because everybody is still in the championship. And what was my other?
One of the Ferraris to be out in Q1, which is correct.
He can get double points because he was out in both Q1s.
Oh yeah, actually you can get 2 points for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Although
was.
I don't think it was the boldest of predictions.
Yeah, especially at that point, it's not that I feel bad for Ferrari because I don't like Ferrari, but it was fun in the beginning. Now it's a bit pathetic, and we'll see. But I think that the next weekend would be another problematic one, and they're just focusing like next season will be our season.
Okay, and your predictions?
Yeah,
for,
my predictions are that Max Verstappen is going to win the championship. Really, I believe that. And I say it to you with straight face. And the other one is that we would have an all-timer race. One that will be remembered for the years to come. Something like 2010 Abu Dhabi.
I mean,
Race
2010
like
Abu Dhabi was kind of boring, so I don't know what we define as an all-timer race, but
because
it will be an all-timer race regardless because the championship will be decided one way or another.
yes, but if Lando Norris is first and he doesn't really make any mistakes and Oscar Piastri is second and Verstappen is third, this is not going to be fun. But imagine something like Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen is
is
win the championship. This is so not fun.
no, but imagine something like Verstappen is second, Piastri is third, and Lando Norris is I don't know 8.
Yeah, we shall see.
I don't know something like that because like I want to have another Weber Alonso Vettel battle, and I want chaos. I want to not really know who is going to win it till the last 3-4 laps. I just want excitement. That's it. That's the whole point.
Okay. I feel like most of the F1s want that, so we hope that it's an eventful race.
Let's just hope it's a nice, clean, fair and square, non-controversial season finale in
Please,
Abu Dhabi.
no 2021 again. Thank you.
Just one last thing. If Lando Norris finished 5th, as
Yes.
he was going to finish, then the
That's 2
difference
points.
would have been 10 points.
Yes.
Then if Lando made it to the podium, but he was third and Verstappen was first, and they were on equal
Max-
points. Is it
Max-
Max because he has one more win?
Yeah.
Well,
He would
right.
have one more win because I think that everybody has 7.
They both have 7 wins each, and if Verstappen were to win in Abu Dhabi, that's his 8th win. So
Yeah.
Verstappen would get the championship, but that doesn't matter
But Kimi
anymore.
Antonelli.
So yeah, Lando would have needed 2nd, but now he just needs 3rd, which is much more manageable for sure.
Definitely.
We would see.
We'll see.
Nobody knows his car may explode like mid-race. No, nobody knows. It can be also Verstappen's car that can explode mid-race. It can be Piastri's. We don't know, and this is the thing that I love about F1.
Yeah.
You don't know what is going to happen
But hey,
till we see the checkered flag.
at the end of the day, whoever wins the championship, we have to be hands up and admit that they deserve it, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
the three of them actually showed really good things throughout the season, and all of them deserve it. I think actually, if I have to be honest, probably Oscar deserves it the least because of the stinker in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 races. Because he would have.
so good though.
Yeah,
So good.
he's so good at moments, but the past few races, I just cannot forgive him.
He
For,
also
like,
has
he
7
was-
wins. They all have.
Yeah,
7
they
wins.
all have 7 wins, but he was so bad in the past few races. But actually, if he wins it, if he somehow manages to win it, that would be so impressive. I cannot wait for Sunday.
Yes.
I think we can wrap up pretty much. We discussed everything. This is all for today from us. We're looking forward to the next episode. Until then, like, subscribe, and follow us and AUBG Daily on Instagram and Facebook. And stay tuned for more of our content. Thank you, and remember,
If you no longer go for a gap that exists,
You're no longer a racing driver.